Um, Very proud to have served here in the Port of San Francisco during my 34 years of active duty. So it's nice to be back on the other side helping to support our men and women. This morning, we'd like to welcome you to the 2015 Parade of Ships. We're very privileged this year, in addition to our ships from our military services. We'll be joined by the Army Corps of Engineers, the Dillard, which is homeported over in Sausalito. Here in San Francisco Fleet Week is both a city and county of San Francisco event. We are very fortunate to have a mayor who is very, very supportive of our military services and of San Francisco Fleet Week. As we put this program together, we have tremendous support from the various departments throughout the city and county government. Ann Cronenberg, who heads up the Department of Emergency Management, is our liaison. Ann has been wonderful to work with, but her entire department turns out virtually in everything that we do. The police department here under Chief Sir, we simply couldn't do what we do without them, starting with the in-briefs that they give to every one of our crews as they come into port. Followed by the fire department. We're very privileged to have the parade led off today by one of the fireboats from the San Francisco Fire Department and Chief Hayes White. And then we simply couldn't even hold this event without our port. And we have the executive director of the port, Monique Moyer, who's just a tremendous partner. They bend over backwards to get all of our ships in and to make sure that they're well serviced while they're here. So I would like to ask for a round of applause for Monique. And with that, I would like to introduce Ayer Medley. Ed Lee, I'm sorry, Mayor. I gave you a new name, sir. I want to make sure there was a little levity to start this off.
Thank you, Admiral. Well, during this re-election year, I've been called a lot of names, so if you want to...
One more in the
Well, it is just my personal pleasure for Anita and I, and certainly for Charlotte, to be joined with all of you and with our Third Fleet of our Navy, with our Marines, with our Coast Guard, with our wonderful military, and with our international guests as well, Consul Generals, to be here and to celebrate our military men and women in uniform, and to just take an opportunity to thank Senator Feinstein. When she was mayor in 1981, she really began this effort, and she got together the groups of people, and we've been able to do this celebration. And over the years, we've grown, and I really want to say thank you, General Myatt, to you and Louis Leuven for heading up and creating the Fleet Week Association and linking it with the city and with our military leaders, flying down to San Diego twice to 3 times a year and making sure everything is set up, and then coming back and then helping to organize with our departments and with our volunteers. Also with the Fleet Week Association, they don't do it alone, and I know if Louis, when he gets up here, and General Myatt, they'll be thanking a lot of their partners as well, companies like Verizon and others who are helping us make sure that this event can successfully and safely host over what we expect 1 million people to come here and to celebrate with us. We got the Blue Angels, we got the Parade of Ships, but we also have something else that we've added, and this is something that I know Senator Feinstein and Secretary Schultz have been very specially proud of. I know the people in the military have been very proud of. We understand that in any time we have the best defense in the world, and this, of course, prevents man-made disasters. We certainly hope it does its best. But at the same time, humanitarianism is also as powerful. And this is where we have an opportunity to demonstrate that here in San Francisco, the humanitarian role of our military. And as we prepare Fleet Week, we have gotten an opportunity to practice those kinds of interactions that, but for these events, would not happen. More and more, our Fleet Week is intertwined with disaster preparedness. And in that disaster preparedness, all of our departments look forward every year, from the port to the airport, from public works to our Department of Emergency Management, public health, human services, all the different agencies, MTA, they look forward to Fleet Week because they're wanting to know what is it that we don't know in case a disaster hits our city. And it could be natural disasters, certainly earthquake, and now potentially with the climate change, we have the opportunity to look at El Nino exercises. Well, just this past week, we had a number of exercises that integrated our essential departments, led by the Department of Emergency Management, and rolled in with what I say is probably one of the best expertise of our military, and that is their logistics. If we don't have that connection now before the events happen, do we introduce ourselves for the first time when the event hits? Well, of course, that is too late. Of course, that is not the time to learn what your counterparts are doing and all the hundreds of acronyms that they'll use that are different from the acronyms that we use. But beyond that, it is the real practice of knowing the roles that people have. And for us as a city, surrounded 3/4 by water, I think we will look forward to the kinds of amphibious ability to deliver supplies to the parts of the city and to practice what kinds of vehicles will relay that. That is incredibly important to the city. And that is why for the last few years we've emphasized that as part of the events, and that is growing, and everybody has that great anticipation. We've also added career and life skills for our veterans as well. That's also something that we are very committed to in San Francisco. We want our veterans, after they're through with the military and when they come home to the Bay Area and particularly to San Francisco, to know that this city loves them and appreciates the work and the sacrifice that they did. And we want them to have the best opportunities for successful life here. Better education, support from our services, and most importantly, the job skills that they want to have. We already are setting that up during Fleet Week with career and job skill seminars, but we also want you to know that beyond these seminars and once a year, year-round, we will have that support for our veterans. And we will also make sure that we build housing and make sure that we end chronic homelessness for our veterans. And we have a date by the end of this year. San Francisco will join a myriad of cities across the country at President Obama's call and Mrs. Obama's call that we make sure we end chronic homelessness for our veterans. This is a great time to celebrate. I'm glad to do so. It is our honor and our privilege to welcome our military and the paraded ships. And I'm supposed to say that use that hashtag FleetWeekSF, just for all you social media hunkers out there. Then, of course, after I'm through here, I'm going to take a selfie with the sailors. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor Lee. If I could-
On 30 September 2008, it's crewed by 380 officers and enlisted. It is armed with anti-air missiles, 12.7 millimeter guns, and torpedoes.